Okay, part 2 in the saga of the Mariner 3.3. So I think what we sussed out last time we looked at it, I ended up with a blister. Well, I think what's happening with the carburetor, pretty sure. I'll show you something. I'm going to tell you something else in a minute, but it's a bit ridiculous. Right, so it looks like the float chamber is jamming, but it's stuck in the downward position, or the needle is stuck down. I think inside the needle there's a little tiny bearing, not too sure. So we're going to get this off today, strip it and have a look at it. A carb kit for this is 49 quid. A new carb for this is 45 quid. What? How can you can't justify that. That's ridiculous. So I'm not too sure it comes apart, but we're going to suss it out and we're going to take it apart and get it out. So it looks like that doesn't, a little bit rusty. So we need a flathead by the look of it, and take all this panel off. Okay, this comes off, I believe, if you take this cover off. Okay, so let's get to work. 2 screws at the front, and then underneath here there's 2 screws. Whether they'll need to come off, I do not know. I think they might be holding the case together, so we'll get these 2 out first. I'll have to hold that. Oh, there we go. Okay, then probably have to take this rubber off here. That looks like it has something to do with it. So we have to lose this barrel of water. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to put the screws right in it. Anyway, for now, there we go. So that comes off. I'm going to have to get that off, I think. So you're going to have to take this off. Little tiny screw on the inside of this. There we go. Off, just move him out the way. There we go. So look, so we have got choke up here. So choke is up. I needed to find that out. And down. Alright, so next thing, big screwdriver. This size of it's tiny, isn't it? Okay, that's not moving too easy, so I'm going to go and fetch myself some WD-40 and give that a bit of a blast and let it soak for a few minutes. That's pretty well seized on. Also, need to order a fuel tap because that poured out of there, so it's leaky from here. So I need to order some piping because this is quite badly and worn, especially if they're going to use it. So I'm going to revamp I suppose the whole engine, clean it all up, new tap, clean the carb. I'm going to try and do it without a carb kit. We'll see what happens. I'll do a new impeller, so I'll do another impeller on it as well. I'll do a re-impeller video as well, separate, because I'm going to do it all at once. It's going to be pretty boring. Brilliant time lapse, isn't it? That should be enough. Okay, let's see if she turns and I can move it. Ooh, that's in solid. A bit more WD down the back there. See, right down the back. And then what I've used a smaller screwdriver and freed it a bit by pushing it in between the casing and the carb. Look, see, just gently. Here we go. Here's it. We're doing me out. And just pull those apart and just ease him off. Oh. There we go. And then we'll undo the fuel line, which was loose anyway. So that one goes. Looks like someone's already been in it. Oh, look at that cry. There we go. Right, so this needs to come apart. I'll just rescue. Yeah, okay. Put that in there. Empty old fuel light. Okay, let's get the bowl off. Quite exciting, isn't it, Jane? Do you think it's exciting? She does. She hates it when I talk about engines. Says it makes her feel sick. Well, it's only two. There's only a small baby carb. They weren't in that bad. They're in tight, but not bad. Two. I don't want to rip the gasket if I can help it. Well, I think we can safely see what's wrong there, don't you? That float actually stuck in the bottom. And it's not attached, which I don't think it is attached to the needle. That's moving okay, but if the float's jammed down below, oh, look at all that crystal down the ramp of the jet. Okay, so I give that a clean and look inside there. I'll show Jane. You'll be impressed with this. Of course, the lady's word for this is, what's the word? Gunge. Pure unadulterated gunge. Right, so let's get this cleaned up. Well, just do it funny. There we go. I'll get that needle jet cleaned as well. So you can see why we're having trouble. God, look at that. And that. Okay, I'll get this cleaned up and bring you back on the out in about 10 minutes. WD on the cloth. Get the outside looking decent. And then I'm going to undo this little one. Get the muck out of that. Oh. That's good. Might just get a little bit of soft sandpaper in that just to clean it up a little bit. But that's better. And give that another bit of a wipe. Where did I use it? There we go. Put the cloth through. Yeah. That won't be sticking again. Right, now what we're going to do, there's a certain way of pulling these pins out, and I think they go that way. There's usually an arrow on it, but no. So I'm going to pin that, push that through, clean all this up, because look, there's a lot of carbon built up, and then we'll check that float. It's actually sits, can you see that? It just sits. It's actually connected. There. Okay. Okay, and this is your throttle assembly. So less the fuel, less the fuel, less the fuel, and then more fuel, more fuel. So I'll just unscrew that and take a look at that. And that'll be your needle, which then sits inside your main jet and lets the amount of fuel coming through as it needs it. And of course your choke assembly is that. Alright, so there should be no problem with this, it should just come off. Unless there's a spring in it or something. Or I'm going to cock it right up. I've only worked on motorbikes, I've never really worked on outboards much, to be honest with you. There we go. I would say the needle's not bad, but it could do with a bit of... I mean, on the motorbikes, they could take the needles out and adjust them for the amount of fuel going through, but he looks alright to me. We'll give it a bit of a clean, it's a bit greasy. And the body's not too bad, actually. Can we zoom into that? Not bad. Let me show you that. Okay. Okay, you can just see my t-shirt through, so it's not blocked. A little bit, but nothing much. So we'll give that a clean as well. Can you see that? Yeah. You can look closely in that so you can see it at the right angle. Look at that, it's corroded it. It's actually pitted at the bottom. Pretty clean. Anyway, so that bit's done. Okay, just to make, I couldn't hold the camera in there, just to make it easy for you, I just used an Allen key, a very fine one. Yep, pushed him and just gently tapped very gently, and there's the pin coming out there, look, you see. So you have to remember which way this goes back in. So I'm going to put it on the bench. Okay, so I'll leave the pin in, well, for now. So this is going to sit like that. Okay, there's my needle float. Actually, it's quite clean inside there. So it wasn't actually the needle that's sticking. Can you see that? Can we get that closer? It was the actual float. Looks clean. Give that a blow out anyway. I don't know if that main one comes out. Let's have a look. Yeah, so just push it down. Something long and thin like that. I don't think it goes in a certain way. Well, it goes in that way, it came out, but look, yeah. So we need to get that clean. So that's the main jet. So I'll probably just blow that now. If you can see that. Anyway, there we go. I'll clean that out. I don't see that, but there you go. That's the rubbish coming out. There you go. Best I can do. Well, not the best I can do. I mean, that's the best. That's good. Main, if it's blurred, I do apologise. There we go. So, main jet clean. There you go. One job done, that bit. Take some doing. Right. There we go. That was pretty easy. Push him in, just till it grips. Done. Okay. And we can put the float chamber back in, or the float in the chamber back in, sorry. And that can go together. Hopefully it doesn't leak. I'll have to get a gasket set for it otherwise, but we're just having a go for now. It's quite an old engine, so this. There we go. Over tightened and strip the thread. So when this goes back in, you'll see a little tiny nipple sticking out in there. So put him back in that way, so it lines up with the nipple, and that should fit in nice and snug. And should end up in the same position we started. There we go. Alright, choke down, and there we go, no choke. And that's it really, pretty straightforward, cleaned up. Could do better, I mean we could spend hours on this, but I just want to see if it works. Kind of fitting the car back on is opposite how you took it off. Lining up these little tiny, you can see little tiny nipples on there. Get them a little bit tighter. There you go. Can you see that? There's a little tiny... There. You need to line that up with the other side as well. I think once you've got one up, it should be fine. I'll go and check. Is he there? No, there's only one side anyway, so it's fine. And that puts the carb in the right position as well. Nice and tight. Not to break it, but just enough to... There we go. Okay. Fuel line back on. And I'm going to probably start this and there's going to be fuel everywhere because I know the fuel tap's leaking and that's annoying me a bit, but I'm going to have to order that. So, it's a shame. There we go. Right, so he's on. That's very weak clip. It'll do for now. Front panel back on. I haven't lined it up properly. I will in a second, but you got to put the front panel back on. You got the picture. Advice: I wouldn't do it with a water tank in the way. Okay, fingers crossed. Got a bit of fuel in. Tuck that down. Put the throttle down to just minimum start. It's on choke. I haven't put the little pin back there to leave here. I don't want to put too much fuel in because I think the actual fuel pipe is actually perished. So I'm only going to put a small amount in just to see if she fires. Fingers crossed. It would be nice if it did. leaking. Hope there's no crystallised fuel in the actual tank. That'd be nice if it wasn't. The amount of fuel we lost yesterday. Let's choke on. There's no fuel in it. Ooh. Come on. A bit of that. The more choke a little bit off. Fuel leak. I think it's this the spring's loose. A bit of a raspberry, clean her out. Cool, there we go. Good fix. No fuel leaks. Done. Okay, that's on full idle. Very good focus. I'm going to try put it in gear. Oh, there we go, fingers crossed. Stand on this. There we go. There's a hole inside the part of the filter system. There we go. We have gears. So we're a running engine. No leaks at the moment, so quite an easy fix. If you enjoyed the vid, give it a thumbs up. Like, subscribe would be fantastic, which is over there. The coming videos over here. There we go. Thanks so much for watching, guys and girls. Take care, see you in the next one. All the best.